So, in any other family, sorry, members that maybe are undermining you or belittle you because of your
All of them.
situation.
Sorry to say that, my loved ones, but all of them, obviously, because they look at you and they like, you wasted a lot, you know, and you like took a lot for granted, you know. I mean, unfortunately, not all of my siblings have the mindset I have,
Mm, mm.
and there's a, I know most of the siblings that I have would die, would kill to have what I have and to think the way
Of
I
course,
think,
yes.
So to them, I'm just wasted talent, and it's not even about belittling. I think I hurt them when they look at me. I hurt them when they like, dude, come on, well, I mean, fuck, you so well spoken. Why don't you? You draw so well. Why don't you?
Ayo, guess what?
lava sokuse uthembulala vele
Things ama-sticky things omakhosha nawo.
bengifuna feel leyo bengiyifuna
Joe, we leave no stone unturned. Yo, what's up? Welcome to yet another episode, Realigned with 925, where we bring you the best. No, we're doing it like we're doing it for TV. Anyway, today we have here our guest, go by the name sort of Flexx from Ekasi Ochis Polam Togo, aka Kasla Makasi. So yeah, as you know, Mchita uzospegela isitero sakhe sazi ukuthi actually from upbringing up until to this stage, what happened, young Cholo and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I hope you're gonna tune in and don't forget to like and subscribe to the episode. Yeah, sure. So yeah, today our guest is sort of Flexx. How are you, man?
Where,
Great.
I'm aware.
Yeah, we dope, bro. We dope, bro. So yeah, Petru, can you just align us, Petru? How was your upbringing up to this stage? Because people tend to judge, because they understand the situation you're in now. They don't know exactly what happened, where you grew up,
Yeah.
and all this. So can you just align us with where you from, and then up to this now?
I'm from Pretoria, born and raised up until the age of 14.
Yeah.
Moved to Woodbank, relocated due to, how could I put it? The guardians that raised me had to migrate to Canada. So I was put in a situation where I had to sort of downsize. Um, did my high school locally with Banky, did college graphic design. We made our mistakes, in the drugs and whatnot, and they put me in a situation that I'm at right now. But you know, uh, it's good that you have a platform like this so we can come clear and people sort of can understand where we come from. It's not all about the crime. It's not all about them asking for 2 rands at the corner and whatnot. Everybody has a story, and everybody has a story, and they know where it began. And I want you all to know where ours began. So me relocating to Ekasi sort of hit hard when I grew up, and that sort of emotionally took me down. So I had to sort of like, well, heal myself,
Yeah.
and I took sort of the wrong route, which was drugs,
Oh yeah.
and that impacted my life because it hindered what I had planned. You see, musically, I tried, I attempted. I also published books as well, but what we have left right now is to tell the generation and those to come what not to do since we made our mistakes. So I'm grateful to be on a platform like this so I can spread, the word as to don't do drugs.
So yeah, Petru, how was your life in PTA before you come this side?
Yeah, I was raised by a Jewish family. Um, the Cobb family, they were a wonderful family, but being who they were forced by their family to sort of like relocate to Canada, and that sort of put me in a spot where I'm from the suburbs, the burbs, and the white upbringing. So it hit hard because you mix yourself with a lot of people. It's a different culture. It's a different approach to life, and I didn't sort of, I didn't take it well, yabo. And I sort of, out of stress, I turned to the drugs and whatnot. Thank God I was able to complete school and push and be where I'm at right now. But I'm trying to straighten things up by contributing to platforms like this, and by trying to tell kids that they should not be molded by the circumstance. They actually should follow their dreams and not let the environment sort of mold them. Let them be in control of what they want and not let society control what they want. We made that mistake.
How did you end up being raised by Jewish?
My mom was a domestic worker for them, and she was put in a financial situation where she couldn't actually, afford to raise us all. So this family, being as kind as they were, sort of offered to be an assistance in raising me. So I was sort of born in the right time at the right place, and they took me in from birth up until the age of 14. And that also made me see both sides of life, and to understand both sides of how could I say, the balance. You see. And as much as it helped, it also had its effects. A lot of negativity as well. The school was a coconut.
I remember. Yeah.
But at the same time, we were able to also introduce coconut is just how could I say, a stereotype. And stereotypes is what destroys a lot of people's dreams. Because when we came in Mkumbula, there was this hip hop thing. Rapper, you can't rap. If you don't wear a certain brand, you can't rap. And we changed all of that.
Yeah.
We came with them all stars, Namati Keys, Nanan, and we changed the whole spectrum.
Yeah.
But with that being said, there's still a lot of work that needs to be done.
So what is the first thing that you did when you get to Ekasi? Because now you're from the Babs, then you had to come to Wheatbank. What was your first thing that you did when you get there? What was it? Or what was on your mind?
Honestly speaking, a lot of anger. A lot of anger, a lot of not being able to accept change. And when you go through all of that, at the end you start realizing even the harder things in life are there to be a lesson, to teach you as to how to present yourself. You see, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Yeah. So I gained a lot of strength from that, as much as I lost. You see, I really don't want to sort of make my past look as bad. Because through that I was able to help a lot of people. There was a lot of people who were planning to do the wrong thing, and by looking at what I became, they took the other route. So it's a samurai sword, basically. Cuts this side and that. Yeah.
So actually you started doing drugs as soon as you were brought here.
Yeah, and it was at a young age.
So that you did drugs because of your
I couldn't accept.
Or you couldn't accept.
I couldn't
the
accept the change. Yeah.
So you thought maybe by doing drugs,
it numbs the pain. It takes away the pain. It takes away a lot of pain. But you see, now numbing the pain or numbing a situation doesn't really get rid of the situation. It just pauses that situation, and it makes it a lot worse. So even looking at me, well, most of the people out there are probably thinking, look at this kid talking about, I'm 39 years old. And due to the whole drug intake, it had an hindrance even in my growth. You see? Yeah. So it had a lot of effect. Yeah. And musically as well, because I think I could have been at a different place, a different state, a different mindset. I could have presented myself a little more differently, but due to amatraxi, I couldn't do that.
Yeah. But the situation at home, was it good, or it also drives you to do that?
Yeah, the situation at home drives you to do that, because I firstly didn't grow up with the rest of my siblings.
Yeah.
So there was that difficulty of them understanding who I am, and there's a difficulty of me understanding who they were, because we come from totally different backgrounds. Now you got to understand, living in one roof with two mindsets, obviously there's an explosion.
Yeah,
You know? So the drugs also participated in that as well. You know, you could overlook a whole lot of things and so on. But at the end of the day, you know, situations drove me to sort of focus, even though it's a little late in life, but I focused.
Yeah, you can switch it off, it's fine. Or put it on silent. If
Oh,
you don't
alright.
mind, yeah. So yeah, you were saying that also the situation at home, it did affect you, and that drove you to do drugs. So how was your first time how to take drugs? How was it? How was your first time? The time you're gonna? I mean,
It
like,
was
the first time you
acceptance.
say
It was acceptance. You know, it wasn't about feeling. It's about trying to be part of the in crowd. You know, I mean, you know, we didn't grow up with the whole statement that school is cool. You know, we grew up on the more negative you are, the cooler you are. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
you want to obviously try and be with the cool crowd. So
So
you're gonna end up
notorious
doing
kinda shit.
yeah, you're gonna end up doing a whole lot of bad things. So it wasn't necessarily about the high. It was about being accepted and appreciated, and not realizing that you're looking for acceptance in the wrong places. You know.
yeah.
But also through that, you also you learn how to be rough, rugged, and raw. Well, you learn how to gain a second skin through all of the mistakes I've made, you know, and I look back at what I've done, and there's some things that I don't want to sound negative, but there's some things that I don't regret, because they taught me a lot, you know. They taught me a lot in life, you know. Prison as well. You get caught and you're doing wrong things, and you sort of realize that I should not do anymore. You see. So through all of the bad, there was good, and I believe that there's still a lot of good that's gonna come through
Of course,
my
yeah.
past. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of a prison, you went to prison.
Yeah.
What was it for?
Yeah. How could I put it? It was sort of me misusing what I'd learned, taking my education and misusing it, you know, and I started doing a whole lot of counterfeit. Let's put it that way. And being from a small community, word gets around fast, so I found myself in a lot of trouble. You know.
What was the trouble?
Yeah, I made a paper for someone that he didn't actually sort of deserve or hadn't achieved, you know, just for a quick buck, so I could afford my fix, and not realizing the danger I'm putting other people in by creating a paper that someone is not qualified for, because at the end of the day, he's not qualified for that, so he's going to put a lot of people
Lives in
yeah,
danger.
obviously, you know. And I mean, I overlooked all of that, being an addict, you see. And it's like I said, it's a learning curve. So it's certain things like that, certain fallbacks like that, that sort of make you stronger in life and make you know what not to do later on in life. So I and I'm going to be honest right now, that wasn't the first time. So it took me quite a while to understand. So I got caught three times.
Is it?
Nah, before.
Doing the same thing.
As dumb as I am, yeah. 3 times doing the same thing.
So how many days you spend in there?
Not long. It's just that I've been charged, and now I have a criminal record, amongst other things. You see, so it's ladies and gentlemen, it's all about choice. You know, it's all about choice. As no matter how dreary and no matter how deep the hole might be, trust me when I say there's always a way out. As much as you might see it impossible, you know, there is always a way out. And I would prefer a person to sort of like find a way out before they get pulled out. you know?
Yeah.
It's best you crawl your way out of the hole than being pulled out by the law, because that's not fun, being pulled out of a situation in handcuffs.
So like I see you so small, bitch. Weren't you afraid when you get there, like they can, like maybe treat you bad or hit you or something like that? Cause nyabat ba pompisana raw, or how was the situation?
No, like everything in life, things are exaggerated,
Yeah.
When you walk in there, you start to realize that as much as you did with your podcast, that not everyone woke up and sort of like told themselves that I want to be a criminal. Everyone has a situation. There's a story behind everyone's action.
Of course.
And when you get to prison, you sort of like realize that as much as they are demonized, everyone has their story,
Yeah.
And that's when I started accepting the fact that, there is gray. It's not just black and white. There's gray. There's always a story in between. So prison is not that bad. In fact, it's a learning curve. You get there and you start to see the inner gritties of what is and what isn't, and what drives a person to do certain things, and you reflect upon yourself as to, okay, fine, who am I in this situation? And I think that's why they call it a correctional center, because now pumara correct.
But then you said you were arrested for 3 times. I mean, like 3 times.
Exactly. No, it's 3 times, because at the end of the day, like I said, I was an addict.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
And obviously, when someone dangles a certain amount of money in front of you and wants you to do something that you could do with your eyes closed, I mean, you're going to take that opportunity, not realizing the risks behind it. So, like I said, it took me a while to realize, because you do it and then you're like, you know what, I'm not going to get caught again. And you got to realize this is the system, and the system always wins. So I don't want to tread on that field anymore.
Yeah. So maybe like you just said, you are 39 now.
Right.
Don't you think that maybe you could be like having kids, like you're a nice woman or girlfriend, wife, whatever you may call it?
Those are part of the regrets of the mistakes I've made. I've reached a point past adulthood. I mean, I'm no longer that young youth anymore. I'm getting to a point. Most of the people my age, they have their 4th kid already.
Of course.
And that hurts. That hurts a lot. So I do wish that I'd made better choices. I do wish that I had a little soda running around asking me where his bicycle is and things like that. but unfortunately, some people are there to make the mistakes, and other people are there to learn from the mistakes, you see. So unfortunately, I think I took the wrong side of the coin. I'm trying to get my things straight, and I know this is not a dating show, but I'm still available also. Ladies. So you see, I've accepted who I am, and I'm just trying to do and make the best of it. You see, yeah. So it's tough, but I'm there. I'm still alive.
You're gonna make it, bro.
Hopefully.
So what did you study in school?
I studied graphic design. I have a love for animation. I have a love for teaching the youth. I have a love for entertaining and molding imagination, because I think that's where everything starts. Whether you are artistic, whether you musical, or whether you just a pure poet and whatnot, but it all just starts from a point of imagination, and I want to sort of nourish that. So besides all of what I've explained, I also do a lot of I write a lot. You see, I write for the kids. I write about what we have done in the past and how they can work as, how could I say, not to do what we did, to look at the positive of the situation they're thrown in. Because unfortunately, we crafted with the idea that everyone's molded by the environment. And I think that's wrong. I think that everyone should mold the environment and not let the environment mold them.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to be a victim of circumstance, trust me, the world is not a nice place. So if you're gonna follow that, you're gonna grow up not a nice person. You see, so that's what I try and portray in everything I do right now. I try and be a voice for anti, drug use. I try and be a voice for being a man without materialism. I try and make the best of a person without material essence or material backings. You see,
So if you were, or they give you a chance like to advise a youth, like you get in a class, what will you tell the youth? Or maybe those who are still in like grade 10, 11, what advice will it be? Or will you give
my
them?
my advice to them would be that firstly, everyone has a dream. I know young people have a dream to be policemen. Some of them want to be pilots. Some of them want to be doctors. But people always forget the fact that there is a path that you must take in order to achieve that. You're not just going to wake up and achieve that. And I would advise them that they should enjoy the path as much as they enjoy the rewards. It just makes it more fulfilling at the end of the day. Because if you're going to look for all of the benefits of life without working for it, you are going to end up what we are, because we took the easy way out, and the easy way out, trust me, it never works. It never works. So my advice to them would be, if they're in school, let them enjoy the process of being in school. If they are writing or they are drawing a picture, let the process of drawing the picture be as rewarding as seeing the final product. I think that way we can touch a lot of people and show them that working towards something is just as good as achieving or something at the end. I think that would be the greatest lesson ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what do they call it? Instead of giving the person the fish, you'd rather give him the fishing rod and teach him how to fish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if usho kanjalo Mpethu, do you think school has an impact of what the person becomes?
Not necessarily. School is there to teach you the finite basics. For instance, what I'd studied at school gave me insight as to what to become or how to utilize certain techniques.
Yeah.
So school is always an introduction, and it's it's a necessary introduction. It's a vital introduction. But I can't say that for those that who didn't last or didn't go through school as other kids, it's not the end for them. I can't say good, yeah, njengoba you made the decision to quit school at grade 10, yeah, life yakho ishayile.
No,
it's not the end.
No, I mean like,
But it is vital.
yeah,
No, it is important.
because we see like most people that maybe those who are dropouts are doing better than those who are.
Exactly.
So what is the problem basically, or where is the risk? I mean,
You see, the thing is, people have this. School, like I said, is a direction. It's a means of directing a person, or giving him the idea of what he wants to become. It also teaches a kid how to socialize and be a better person amongst other people.
Yeah.
But I cannot say that it is the key to life, because I think there is education and then there is wisdom, and
course.
one feeds off of the other. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because
yeah.
at the end of the day, there's no point in being wise without a little knowledge. At the same time, there's no point of being a did you know encyclopedia without being wise. So you got to have a balance of the two, So that's why I say you got. I remember seeing a picture with this Ferrari, written educationless, and then right next to it there's a man begging, and on the sign he's got all of his qualifications.
Yeah.
You see, so at the end of the day, you have to, like I said, you have to mold your situation, and so do not let the situation mold you. So school at the end of the day shouldn't be what molds you. Your drive, your dream, your aspirations, that's what molds you. You know, school is just a stepping stone as to how to get there. But if you've missed that step, it doesn't mean that there's no other steps to continue.
To go further.
Yeah. Well, so I know there is a conflict between education is not necessary. I know.
What are you saying?
No, there are people who say that. You know,
What are you saying?
You know, it worked for me. Let me just put it that way. It worked for me. But what I'd learned from school in comparison to what I learned in the streets, school has got nothing on what I learned in the streets. You know?
Yeah, true.
But it also school had its part, but like I said, it's a finite balance between the two, and kids should try their utmost best to have that finite balance between the two and not give up. You know, just try to persevere. I mean, if you're going to give up on a textbook, imagine when it comes to the payslip. You see, so you know, you got to understand that. Yeah. If you're going to give up on the little, when you have to come across the big, what you going to do?
Yeah, true. So, you have you tried stop smoking?
Yeah, I did. And I just blame underestimation. I've been smoking for so long because I'd started smoking before puberty. You know, I wasn't a full-grown kid. Yeah, I mean, I was young. I was 14 when I started smoking.
No, man.
Yeah, I was 14 when I started smoking.
No.
And
smoking like weed or drugs?
No, I only smoked weed for 2 months. You know, and like straight after that, I jumped into heroin. So, the hole you dig, if it takes you 14 years to dig that hole, it's going to take you 14 years to close it. And we go into the whole rehab system with the thought that, you know, I'm just going to take my shoes off and I wake up tomorrow morning and I'm going to be off it. And that's when you relapse because you underestimated the situation. And I was one of those. I underestimated the situation and I ended up relapsing. So I think now my approach, I think I'm going to be a lot wiser, you know, and I'm going to expect a lot of more pain than I did before. And I think that way I'm going to be able to handle it a lot better than I did before, you see.
Yeah, so how much have you spent smoking in a day? Like how much money you wasted smoking?
A lot, because my tolerance is high. Doctors have this term called tolerance, sort of like the more you smoke, the more you build on your tolerance. So I've been smoking for a while, so my tolerance is high. So I spend minimum is in the 300-400s, maximum it's a lot. I don't want to get into that, but it's a lot.
400 rand.
That's the minimum.
A day. So you tell me if now I can give you 8K, you can finish that a day.
8K in comparison, 8K is nothing. I've seen kids dip worse. You know, I've seen a man once hawk his car for 15 grand just so he could get his fix. And I'm talking about selling his car for 15 grand just to get his fix. So, like I said, drugs are bad for situations like that. You don't have a limit. As long as you have the finance in your pocket, you will not stop. And when you do that, you build yourself a higher tolerance. So if I smoke 400 today, I'm going to have to smoke 600 tomorrow to get the high off of the 400. You know what I'm saying? And then the next day, it's going to be 800 to get the high I got off of the 600. So eventually, you're going to wake up spending $1,000 a day just to get your daily fix. And you got to consider the fact that there's tomorrow again.
So you're still smoking now?
Unfortunately, yes.
So how much you spend a day now?
A lot. $1,000. I can say $1,000.
Every day?
Yeah, but that's a good day, you know. I mean, like I said, you're not in control of the situation, you know. But if I'd have, you know, the $1,000 daily,
so any money that comes, you smoke?
You kill it.
You don't think of clothes, you don't think of anything, just smoke?
No, it's all about the high. And that's the dangerous thing about drugs is that consciously, it's the only thing you concentrate on. You wake up in the morning, you concentrate on how am I going to get my fix this morning. you reach a point where you're concentrating on your next fix while you're smoking the fix you are smoking.
Wow.
You understand? So
Yeah.
it's a punishment. It's a really heavy punishment, and it is so heavy, and I can't concentrate, and I can't sort of like emphasize enough as to how dangerous it is to just try. I know a lot of people start by just trying, and that alone gets you hooked. We all started by trying.
So you smoke nyaupemus.
Yeah.
What is
That's
it called in heroin?
Yeah.
And rock.
Yeah, it's crack.
Why are you combining the two?
One releases dopamine, the other releases adrenaline. So dopamine is that relaxed state when you feel good, and and then heroin is when so obviously they're going to play off of each other, because now when you are on when you on your fix of rock,
yeah.
you all hype,
yeah.
and then when you bring yourself down, it makes it a lot better than just smoking it alone, because now you are hype.
Then you use heroin to calm down.
Then
after that you need to
fix again.
Then just like that.
It's a ridiculous cycle.
Sure.
Yeah, it is a ridiculous and terrible cycle, but it is what it is.
So every night you have to smoke before you sleep.
Yeah, because
otherwise
you go through things called withdrawals, and they are painful.
So actually, if you don't smoke before you sleep, you go through withdrawals.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of addicts do a lot of terrible things, because the pain. And I think it's more painful when you know that what could make you feel better is just around the corner. I think pain is it's easier to handle when you don't have an alternative. But now when you know that if I had to have this amount of money, this pain would go away, it sort of makes it a lot more painful, you see. So a lot of addicts are caught in that cycle, they're trying to resist the pain, and not realizing that they're just prolonging the situation. So I don't want to sort of like badmouth them, because I'm also in that cycle, but it is a cycle, and it is a vicious cycle, and an addiction is not deliberate. How could I put it? It's a sickness, and I think when society treats it as a sickness, I think it can be healed better than something deliberately done. Man.
Yeah.
Now he's caught in a situation where he'd need whatever, whether nyaupe, whether tick, whether in to feel better. That's a sickness now.
That's why I made this platform, so that you can say the side of your story. Why actually are you doing this thing?
Yeah.
So Petu, tell me, if you say you have to smoke, and the pain that most kills you is the one that that you can get your fix.
Yeah.
And what is it that you do to get your fix?
Basically everything. I mean, I thank God that, like I said, thank God that I finished, and I got sort of like a trade and something I can fall back on. So I design here and there. I do a lot of how could I put it? Advertising. I brand. I have T-shirts and a lot of things. But that's me, and it's unfortunate that a lot of people didn't reach their point in here. So for them, it's harder. And then lapho sekufika ubhanga, lapho sekufika amabra, lapho sekufika, you reach that point, because at the end of the day, even if you don't have money, but your body is not going to understand. Your body is going to want your fix.
So now, if it happens, it's around about 10 p.m. and you smoke all your money during the day. What do you do? Because now all people are sleeping, the one that maybe you designed for. What do you do?
Wow, that's heavy. You bear the punches, and they are hard punches. I'm going to share a story with you that happened last night. I found myself going down to our dealer. I think it was like 2:30 in the morning, because I couldn't bear the pain.
Is it?
I couldn't bear the pain. So here you are walking in the middle of the night just to get your fix. So just to sort of emphasize as to how unbearable and how uncomfortable
the situation is.
Yeah, you see. So you you end up doing a whole lot of stupid things that you regret just so you can get your fix.
So now, if ever you were to be given a chance, like, okay, man, we bring you back at this to be like 16-year-old with the knowledge you have now, or they give you like 10 meter, what will you do?
If I had to rewind,
Yeah.
I would be, the first thing I would tell the younger version of myself is that do not put that in your mouth, because you're going to be what you are looking at right now. That would be the first lesson. But like I said before, there are certain things that I can't say I regret because they sort of helped me make someone else better in life. So you know, fate is a very complex thing.
course.
So if I hadn't taken the choices that I'd taken, I wouldn't be sitting here talking about what I'd done, and I wouldn't have touched whoever sitting there, you know, dwelling on the thought of let me try this, and then they're going to see soda and they're like, no, hell no, I'm not going to try that anymore. Look at him. So there's that as well. But I would other than what I'd achieved in life, the addiction thing would be a definite no.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be. That's one thing that I would.
So I mean, like, if you were to say you need to choose, like, we give you like 10 mil, you continue as you are now, or you go back at the age of 16 with the knowledge that you have now, which one will you choose?
Wow, that's a deep question. Yeah, I'm gonna try and make myself sound positive in all of this. So I would be like, no, I don't want the 10 mil. I want to go back to being 16, so I could actually make different choices and make that 10 mil myself.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be realistic about it. I'll take the 10 mil.
But you're gonna smoke it all, man, in 2 months' time.
No, but like I said, we're being honest about it. This is the addict in me talking.
Yeah.
But the soda, the Sam in me would be I'd rather go back and be 16 and relive my life in a better way.
Yeah.
I think that would be the choice I'd take.
Let me just back a bit, man. You remember which year was it? I can't even remember. Maybe 2013. We did a song together.
Yeah.
PHOLA. Yeah, man.
And
But
it was a
but
nice song.
back then you were still like the soda that man was like the hardcore rapper.
Yeah.
So then before then you were not heavy on smoking, nah?
Yeah, my tolerance wasn't that high. Like I say, it goes with age. You know, because at the end of the day, we used to smoke to be high so you could do a lot of things, and now we just smoke to feel better and forget about the things we wanted to do. So you eventually reach that point. But those are the good days, man.
Man, was good
those are the
days,
good
man.
days.
Very good days, like
Yeah.
hell.
Yeah,
So much. Okay, yeah.
I enjoyed the music part. You know, I still do. I love music's the love of my life, and you know, second wife is drawing, but first wife music for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it as much as it sort of maybe had destroyed me, it also gave me a great platform. It also gave me great friends like you as well. So win-win.
Yeah. So much umakoko, this thing of smoking. I am kawachi or naiseka understand it. This is how it should be. Otherwise, or now yasaba could the withdrawal symptoms.
Exactly. No, you see now parents are put in a very difficult position because now no parent wants to see their child in pain, but at the same time, no parent wants to see their child as an addict. So it puts them in a very, very, very dark position. Because at the end of the day, when they're sitting in a taxi and one lady may be sitting next to them, you know, talking bad about addicts and how addicts do this, and you know, they sort of reflect on their kids,
of course,
and it would be like, this is my child you're talking about. So addicts as well, think about the parents, you know, and think about what you're putting your parents in, you know, because they go through that addiction as much as you do, you know. Like, for instance, when I don't sleep, my mother doesn't sleep, you see. So situations like that, she every day prays that I'd be strong enough to quit, you know.
of
And
course.
I thank that I got a backing like that, because I think I'd have been way worse off if I didn't have a very strict mother, you see. So that helps as well. That helps as well. And she keeps reminding me as to what she did, what she sacrificed in life so I could be where I am, and how I took that all for granted. So that also helps me try and better myself, you know. Because at the end of the day, parents get old, and like no parent wants to go out without knowing their child is okay.
Of course.
So
yeah.
trust me, when a parent goes out whilst their child is still an addict, that
Ish.
is like literally directly sending them to hell, because they are literally going out not knowing what the
The direction.
yeah, you know. So the other advice I could give addicts is that, you know, if you still got folks, guardians, whatnot, still living, do it for them. You know, quit for them. You know, so when they go out and when they rest knowing good, my kid's okay.
So when are you planning to quit?
I plan that every day. But I don't have, I haven't gained the nerve, you know, to take that step.
What is it that you're afraid of?
The withdrawals, the changing of life, because it's not only about quitting drugs. You have to quit a certain state of mind. Yeah, you have to get rid of all of the friends that you were smoking with.
Start a new life, new
Exactly,
friends,
you know.
new routine.
There was a friend of mine who said, like, yeah, Joe, mango tufuna kwenza suit and manje bogcoka track suit. Don't take the material that you used for a track suit and try and make a suit out of it.
Yes, you must
Because
get the new
because
material.
you're gonna make an ugly ass suit. So that's
Sure.
yeah. So I'm busy fighting with that right now.
Trying to adjust. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, as much as the withdrawal is an enemy, an addict's mind is his enemy as much as the withdrawals. You know, you're gonna be your own enemy, because it's gonna be your mind. It's like, dude, if you just had to smoke once, they're not gonna see that, and that's just you going back.
It's
So that's how I also went back, and I really wish, at least for me to look back on life and say, you know, mina being so.
yeah.
An interview like this, at the end of the day, yeah, it's informative, it's educational, but don't you think it would have a little more sustenance if I was looking back at the situation?
Man, it's just gonna be
it
more
would have been
better.
yeah, you see. So I do wish that it's no, and I know for certain every addict you've interviewed has the
course.
same in their mind.
Yeah, of
No addict is comfortable with being an addict. No addict is okay with being an addict. It's just that people have to understand as to how difficult it is to get away from an addiction. It's hard. It is hard. It's a hard battle.
So, and any other family, sorry, members that maybe are undermining you or belittle you because of
All
the
of them.
situation?
Sorry to say that, my loved ones, but all of them, obviously, you know, because they look at you and they like, you wasted a lot, you know, and you like took a lot for granted, you know. I mean, unfortunately, not all of my siblings have the mindset I have, you know, and I know most of the siblings that I have would die, you know, would kill to have what I have and to think the way
Of
I
course,
think,
yes.
you know. So to them, I'm just wasted talent, and it's not even about belittling. I think I hurt them when they look at me. I hurt them when they're like, you know, dude, come on, oh, I mean, fuck, you so well spoken. Why don't you draw so well? Why don't you, you know?
Yeah, because I used to ask myself or tell myself that if ever so that you are that smart, but you fail to outsmart the addict or
Yeah.
drugs, why? Because if ever you're smart enough, you could outsmart everything.
Yeah, no, but I think that's also to show as to how difficult and how deep an addiction is. You know, I think it shows it's not all about the smarts, you know.
And of course, you were still young before.
Very.
What about those who started smoking or who start smoking at the age of 35? Because we have people like that, because, you know.
Yeah, we do. You know, they are as confusing to me as females are. But I choose to sort of empathize. I choose to put myself in their position and like maybe think about maybe what had happened and what, drove them. Because I have a few friends that had started late, and they are always running away from something. That's the truth behind it is that no one does it just for the fun of it.
Okay.
As much as movies and music makes it sound recreational, it's not mostly about the recreation or the fun behind it. It's about numbing and killing
everything that's bothering you.
Yeah.
So why are you saying women are confused?
They are. That's why they say what women are from where and we are from where, somewhere Venus, and men think in boxes and women think in cables. I think an addict who started at the age of 35 is
confuses.
Yeah. I don't know, but trust me, whatever it is, he's going through a lot.
So no, I think we touch on everything, bruh. I'm not sure. Maybe there's anything you want to say. Because I think I'm aligned now of sort of Bani and where you from. Yeah, because mina ikazi ngibone so makhelwane, I'm like, hey, we have actually intelligent, smart. Because I remember you told me something back 2014, if not 15, and I started to realize those things now. I'm like, Mshita was very, very fucking smart.
Yeah. And ngalogo I njengoba ngisho ukuthi as much as ngamosha, I have the mistakes in life as well to thank for what I have intellectually. And what I also would like to express, to conclude it is, those who are interested, don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to question a situation just for the sake of not getting yourself in your situation. Understand it. I think with the reason why a lot of people have taken the choice of drugs is the fact that they didn't understand the situation before. So platforms like this can sort of like get into the depth of it, because when you kill a cockroach, get the head, you see. So the same thing with an addiction. If we want to kill the whole cycle, we have to cut it at the head, and cutting at the head is finding the demon that made a person smoke in the first place.
All right.
Yeah.
So those are your closing words, or?
All
right. Thanks a lot, man. Thank you.
Pleasure,
very much,
man. Anytime.
I think if ever there's something you forgot, I'm always gonna call you.
Anytime.
All right.
Anytime,
man. Yeah, man. Thank you for watching. If ever you reach to this stage, don't forget this is Realign with 925 podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our content if you like them. So man, thank you very much. I hope you learned a lot from Soda, because he's a smart guy, man. He outsmart everybody. I'm sharing true you taste and I'm saying billing seals. So pay up my dad as well. But anyway, we're doing it like we're doing it for TV. 9 to 5, I'm out. Peace out. Right. Sure.
Pushing your pan, you're pushing your pan, you're fooling your van, you're fooling your van, pushing your pan, you're pushing your pan, you're pushing your pan, I mean like, I'm doing this for